Week 5, Broncos and Jets, just two teams looking for their second win of the season. Right? No, I think there's a little bit more to this matchup here today, and we are going to get through all the layers of this matchup here coming up in just a little bit. Throughout the next 40 minutes or so, I will be here with you, Alexis Perry, joined by none other than former Broncos offensive lineman Orlando Franklin in the hot seat, looking good. Happy to have you here, Big O. How are you?
Hey, Pete, thanks for having me. Thanks for reaching out. Really appreciate it, first of all. Right?
Yeah.
Anytime I get an opportunity to talk Broncos, I am a very happy man. So doing good. Got off a flight this morning from Charlottesville. Was out there and did the ESPN game for ACC Network yesterday.
Yeah.
Virginia at William Mary. So Virginia got their first win of the season yesterday. Hopefully the Broncos could get their second win today.
That's what we'd like to see. Is this your first time at the DNVR bar during a game?
Yeah, first time during a game. Came once before to check things out.
Yeah.
But man, this place is rocking. Awesome atmosphere. Unbelievable. Just kind of seeing the behind the scenes of this.
Yeah.
So super excited about being here for sure.
We're excited to have you. You guys, we all know there is no doubt that this was a game that we all had circled on our calendars really the minute we knew Aaron Rodgers was going to be playing for Nathaniel Hackett. Then all the hoopla happens this offseason. The USA Today article, Sean Payton saying that it was one of the worst coaching jobs in NFL history. Obviously, Robert Saleh, you have Aaron Rodgers, you have Billy Turner, you have all these guys responding. It feels like there's a lot of juice behind this game. This week, they all said, hey, we're just two teams looking for their second win of the season. Feels like that was 20 years ago, that we're just sweeping it under the rug. But I have to think, Big O, that you're not just sweeping that under the rug if you're the New York Jets.
Yeah. This game, because of Sean Payton's comments, if you're the New York Jets, if you're Robert Saleh, Nathaniel Hackett, this is an ice tub game. We're going to get in the ice tub every single day leading up to this game, and you better be getting in the ice tub every single day after this game, because the physicality level better rise up. You know,
Yep.
Both teams have played a couple games already, kind of figured out their identities. This is where now week 5 on is where you start implementing that idea. You understand the team that you're going against. There's a lot of, symmetry when you look at the Broncos and having all the guys back there and, Nathaniel Hackett being able to talk to Russell Wilson and now Sean Payton doing things different. So there's a little familiarity with both of these clubs. But I'm not buying into the whole, it's just another game.
Yeah.
It's never just another game. We pay attention. As athletes, you pay attention, even when you try not to pay attention to the outside noise. I promise you have friends and family that hit you with that tweet or they hit you with that quote, and you see what's going on. So let's get after it today. I think both teams are going to show a physicality that we haven't seen it yet all season.
How do you think Nathaniel Hackett comes into this game? Because obviously he remembers how things ended here. We all do, right? After that blow-up loss to LA, obviously Christmas Day game. It was absolutely brutal. Fan base turned on him quickly. I mean, he comes back here today, and this fan base is ready to boo him, to count down that play clock. How do you think he's handling this game emotionally, and how can the Broncos take advantage of that?
Yeah, so I think he's going to be very emotional, right? I mean, and when you're very emotional, you now open up opportunities to not have success. Remember, Nathaniel Hackett doesn't have the savior Aaron Rodgers there. He has Zach Wilson. And you have to be perfect in how you call games for Zach Wilson to have success.
Yep.
So with that being said, I think that it's been a lot of long nights for Nathaniel Hackett this week.
Yeah.
Staying up late, trying to be perfect with his play call, his design, building out that playbook. And, at the end of the day, it's I don't think that that's necessarily the right way to do football.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be free in this game, and you got to be able to adapt and adjust. And I think Nathaniel Hackett actually comes here behind a step or two in facing his old team in the Broncos because of how it ended last year.
All I have to say is thank goodness this was not the Broncos Week 4 matchup. Thank goodness they were able to go into Chicago and get a win after that blowout loss there to the Dolphins. Because, I mean, the conversation, if you guys think there's juice this week, the conversation if this game was last week would be so much different after getting 70 hung on this team. So last week we go into Chicago. Really rough first half for the Denver Broncos. Second half, things really start to click. VJ says, obviously, these guys are able to kind of simplify things, play a little bit more man. And all of a sudden, you started seeing the results of what happens when this defense plays the right way. From what you saw on tape, what does the right way look like for this Denver defense?
Yeah, a lot's been said the first couple weeks, right? I mean, you get 70 hung on you by the Miami Dolphins, and everybody's trying to point a finger. Let's be honest. You lose by 50 and a team scores 70, you got to point fingers to everybody, right? So, unfortunately, what I've seen with this football team, it's been a mismanagement of resources. And that's on coaching. VJ coming out there, I give him credit being able to sit there and admit his wrongs and talk about the scheme being kind of off and him trying to play a scheme where his team doesn't match. The best coaches in the National Football League are the guys that understand that every single player might not be able to do it your way. So how do you tailor the game now for that player?
Yeah.
And when you're able to do that, you're able to find success. So VJ has done it on the defensive side. I'm just waiting to see when Sean Payton's going to do it. Because for me, AP, that wide receiver room, there is no reason why these young bucks should not be getting a chance. I love Courtland Sutton. I want Courtland Sutton to succeed.
But more Marvin.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Marvin Mims Jr., he has earned the right. In my opinion, to play at least 70% of the snaps.
Yep.
Brandon Johnson, the exact same thing. Something that stuck out to me immediately was when they played against the Washington Commanders. And that big, long, explosive play down the middle, Marvin Mims Jr. Well, the Broncos went max protection. They kept 9 guys in, and they only had 2 guys out on the route. And it was Brandon Johnson and Marvin Mims Jr. And those guys were able to create space, create separation, but also stress the hell out of the defense.
Yeah.
That's how football is played. Right now, Courtland Sutton's not doing that. He's the number 1 wide receiver. I get it. You're paying a lot of money to him. But when he's on the football field, he kind of hinders you. So let's let some of these younger guys get a little bit more burn and see what they could do, because that's how you start becoming an explosive offense, but also that's how you start becoming an offense that's keeping their defense on their heels because they don't know what's coming next.
I love having you here because you and I haven't really talked Broncos this season. So this is even more exciting, especially now that we're 4 games into the season. We're talking offensively. Last week, Russ, he looked good. 21 of 28, 223 yards, threw for 3 touchdowns. And he did exactly what I feel like the Broncos paid him to come in to do. And that's to help this team in the second half, when they're down, come back and win a football game. Do you think Sean Payton has done what he has been paid to do, and that is officially fix Russell Wilson?
Yes, I don't think Russell Wilson's the problem. I think, the first 4 weeks of the season, I could point fingers at a lot of people on the football team, and if there are 10 things wrong with the Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson is 9 or 10. Yeah. Right? There is 1 through 8 before that. So absolutely, I think Sean Payton has fixed Russell Wilson, but I really didn't think that Russell Wilson was broken, AP, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I thought it was more
It's about fit.
Yeah, it's about fit. And Sean Payton, this whole entire offseason, from the time he showed up and Russell Wilson got back to the time they started playing football, can Sean Payton get Russell Wilson to think like him?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to call this play. And on this play, the progression is Courtland Sutton, then it's, Greg Dulcich, then it's Marvin, or then it's Jerry Jeudy, and then the check down is Javonte Williams.
Yep.
Well, that is the progression if it's cover 1, right? If it's cover 2, it's Greg Dulcich, Marvin Mims, then Jerry Jeudy, then Courtland Sutton, right?
Yeah.
Can you now differentiate and recognize at the line of scrimmage what coverage is to now switch up the progression in your mind to get the ball out of your hands faster?
Yeah.
And I think that it's been a match made in heaven because Russell Wilson was pounding on the table for Sean Payton, but also Sean Payton, when you're coming back, you want a quarterback like Russell Wilson, to be honest, that's played a lot of defenses, has seen everything a defensive coordinator is going to throw at him, but also has that added, X factor, and that's the legs, because defensive coordinators can't account for the quarterback using their legs.
Well, I know Sean Payton, speaking of a match made in heaven, he has prayers up today for his offense to really be clicking, firing on all cylinders, because I think this really is a must-win game for the Denver Broncos, specifically Sean Payton. You cannot have the comments that you had in that USA Today article and the little thing. And I know we're probably making it a much bigger deal than these teams are because we're the media and that's what we do. We like to blow shit up. But I think even he knows that he can't come out, say what he said, and then lay an egg. Is this a must-win?
Typically when you look at the National Football League, those must-win games come in week 16, 17, 18.
It's an early one.
But with Sean Payton and having too many lattes a couple months ago and just kind of blasting off at the mouth and what he said about Nathaniel Hackett, absolutely. You turn this into a must-win game. You will be judged. And if you do not win this game, I'm telling you, here in Broncos country, the expectation is something huge is going to change after this game if you don't win it. Because you're going to have to Sean Payton is going to have to push somebody on a sword if he does not win this game today and say, okay, well, he was the problem and we're moving forward, or blow this thing up and go in a completely different direction.
Okay, really quick, the injury report here for the Denver Broncos. Great news in terms of guys who are coming back on the defensive side of the ball. Justin Simmons, Josie Jewell, Frank Clark, those guys are ready to go. PJ Locke also activated to the 53-man roster. He went ahead and took that spot that Randy Gregory freed up when he was traded there to the 49ers. On the offensive side of the ball, bad news for the Broncos. Javonte Williams, a guy we know his physicality, and especially going up against this Jets front four would have been really useful. But obviously they have a guy like Jaleel McLaughlin who can come in. He could kind of go to the outside. They can make stuff happen with Jaleel that maybe they can't necessarily with Javonte. So all in all, good news on the defensive side of the ball. They need this boost big time this week. Kind of bad news for the offense, but at least there's guys there.
Yeah, when you look at it, getting up PJ Locke back is huge for this team, especially when you go to your nickel and your dime defense, right? When you're going to have extra DBs out there, 5 DBs or 6 DBs, that is going to be huge for this defense. And PJ Locke brings a little bit more physicality, and now you're allowed to put Kareem Jackson in the box, right? So that is a huge plus. For me, it stings. The Javonte Williams, it definitely stings because I said it, AP, right? When I sat down here, this is an ice tub game. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's about the physicality. It's about bringing it each and every play. And Javonte Williams, we've seen it in his career, his ability to do that. So what does it look like for the Broncos today? I have no idea what it looks like, but you better be able to run the ball and you better be able to be efficient running the football.
Yeah.
Because you cannot afford for this talented Jets defense to turn you one-dimensional where you're not finding success. So maybe it's a little bit more wide zone with Jaleel McLaughlin or pulling tackles and getting them to the edge.
Yep.
But when you get Samaje Perine, he better come downhill and be ready to go. And we might see the fullback get a couple carries today, too. If I'm Sean Payton, I'm thinking that because for me, it's about figuring out a way to get to 30 runs, some way, somehow.
Yeah.
You get to 30 runs and you make sure that you're efficient with those 30 runs, and that's 4 yards a carry. The Broncos win this football game if they're able to do that.
That'd be a lot more carries for our guy Jaleel than he's used to getting, but that's exactly what we want to see here today. As the Broncos turn to the rookie to make some big plays in place of Javonte Williams. Time now for one of my favorite segments. And Yaya, correct me if I'm wrong, but for Rate the Fit, do we have any Broncos today?
We got Broncos adjacents, no Broncos.
See, I swear that they are sabotaging this segment because it's too good. And I think part of that is obviously the Broncos right now, they probably want to win games and maybe not put out on social media what the guys are wearing prior to, like as if anyone cares.
Yeah,
we care.
When you're 1-3, right? It's kind of tighten up and don't do a lot of things.
I still want to know because I know that these guys do spend a little bit of time. I'm not going to say that they spend more time on their fits than they do watching film, but the fact that they spend at least 10 minutes thinking about this a week, I want to show my respect.
Absolutely. That's a big thing.
I'd like to show my respect for your fit right now.
Hey.
Burberry sweatshirt.
Hey.
Gucci sneaks. Let's see those. The little high tops.
Hey.
He's looking good. I went simple. I wore Raiders colors today on accident. Sorry, everyone. My bad. You
fall.
Look like fall and fresh.
That's a little bit of fall in there.
I was
for sure.
I was trying. Let's go ahead, and look to see who around the league is wearing what. Starting with, and we can grab these.
This is for you. This is a LaVisca Chenault.
My buff. What's up, bro?
So there's a little CU love.
Oh, immediate flames. If you're a buff, you get flames. And you have these two here, Big O. If you want to rate the fit with an emoji.
Rate the fit, huh? So you're saying because he's a buff, he gets immediate
flame. He could
huh?
literally be wearing a trash bag. Go Buffs.
Oh, man. I don't know, man. I don't
You
know
wanna-
how I
you
feel
wanna put
about
it up?
that one. I'm going to go ahead and hit him with one of these.
He's like, why? Why don't you like it? That like, what color is that? Is that like
Exactly. That's the problem. I don't know the color. That's the problem.
I feel like it's not like it's like a purplish, right? I feel like it's the same color as my nails right now.
Maybe like a little lavender?
Lavender
Is
vibes?
that what that is?
I don't know what face he's making. That's the only thing I would judge differently is like, the camera's right there.
I also don't like the hat with the suit. Not a big fan.
Again, SCO buffs.
It's also
that-
different color hat.
I mean,
it's not even the same. Like
when you-
it's green.
Is it a
When you
trucker?
put
Yeah,
on a
and
suit,
green.
You got to take the hat off.
Gotta take it
Gotta
off.
take
Okay,
the
okay.
fitted baseball hat. Look, you got to take that off.
So clearly, I'm just insanely biased, is what you guys are telling me. Okay, let's look at the next one. Yeah. Cooper Kupp, looking like Mac Miller out here. Actually,
you got the chest hair popping out. Okay.
is it good chest hair? Can you see that? Is that like?
I don't know.
Is it full? Is it thin? What's
I
happening?
mean, it's better than what I got going. I think Cooper Kupp's coming with the cool
You know,
guy vibes
it's-
right here,
I was
man.
gonna say, are you doing sunglasses? I'm like, unless I'm confused on this, because to me, I'm like, are you going to dinner, like beachside? Like to me, that kind of works for like a date night. Like rolling in with all that chest hair out. I don't know how I feel about it.
Date night, really? My wife would be like, "You better cover that
She-
thing up." I
she's like,
mean,
"You better go
I don't
find
know
yourself
what,
an
what
undershirt."
you're doing. I got the cool guy face, AP, because I'm like, he thought like, "Hey,
He thought
I'm
he
gonna
was
kill
cool.
him with this one." You know what I mean? The shirt's popping out. They're gonna see my chest. I'm killing it.
Ooh,
so I know
kill
his
him.
thought process when he put that on.
I liked the hat. He looked casual. I just am like, I don't know. Not for me. Okay, next one. Yeah.
Next, we have Taylor Swift's new boo.
Taylor Swift's new boo is what Yaya says. Okay, so
Man.
oversized white button down. I have thoughts and feel. I don't even think I have the right emoji for this one. I think it's brutal. Like, I also think Travis Kelce's style this entire season has been brutal.
This season, I
Personally.
think it's been that his whole entire career. Like,
I mean,
dude,
he
what the heck are
always
you
looks
wearing?
whack, but like now all of a sudden he's doing this like hobo chic thing, and
He
it's
looks
not
like a
working
genie
for-
in the photo. Like he has like the big pants or the MC Hammer pants in that photo, or what, I don't
Is
know
this
what
the
he has
Taylor
going
Swift
on.
effect? Like, is he trying to look like a creative? Like, what's going on? Like an artiste?
I mean, he might need to hit up her stylist because she dresses a lot better
I'm
than him.
still waiting for them to break up. I cannot stand it. Okay, next one. Yeah. Ooh,
Was that in
this was
London?
in London today.
This was in London today. Bills fan next to a Jaguars fan. Both completely
Interesting.
insane.
I don't even. Nothing is registering to me on. I'm just like going shrug. I appreciate the dedication from the Jags fan to go full face.
That's
you
why
got
I went
flame.
fire, because I appreciate the commitment.
Can you go
Being over
back to
there
that?
across the pond, I appreciate the commitment, just going all out.
To me, like this would be such a good like Halloween game fit. Like this guy went all out. Congratulations to them. And he got a dub today over the Bills. Like, what more could you want? What more could you want? I like that. Kelsey from the set of Pirates of the Caribbean. Yes, Drake. You absolutely nailed that. Okay, I think we have one more. Yeah. Rate the fit of the field. Totally new fit for the Broncos field at Empower Field at Mile High. I am going straight fire.
I'm trying to figure out how to steal a helmet. You know, ever since I saw the helmet come out, I want one. I desperately want a jersey. So hopefully I'm going to try to talk to the equipment guys to get that done.
Oh, I'm sure Flip can make that happen.
Maybe.
He can
Flip's
make
been hiding
most
from me,
things.
though. He's been hiding from me the last 6
Really?
months. So maybe.
No, I'm sure he's just busy.
Yeah, no. Flip, Jason, Harry, all those guys, they're awesome, man.
They're the absolute best. I'm really excited to actually see these snow-capped helmets in person. The field looks amazing. I think that's the first time we've ever seen the Denver D on the field at Mile High.
Mm-hmm.
It was something that Pat Bolin did not love, the Denver D logo. That was
Really?
something that I've learned over time. That was not his favorite. He really liked what came with the new Bronco head logo, which was obviously winning.
Yeah.
So this is the first time we're seeing it. I think it looks absolutely stunning. Shout out to the turf crew there at Empower Field. It looks amazing. But when it comes to the actual helmet that these guys are going to be wearing today, our friend Zach Stevens, he went around the locker room earlier this week to get their thoughts on the new white helmet. Let's take a look.
What do you think of these Snowcapped helmets?
They awesome. I wish we keep them all year, but super cool, man. I love them.
You're going to do all white in the end zone and then the old school D logo at midfield.
That's dope.
They're sick. I'm excited. We'll see how it looks with the orange, but I'm excited to wear them.
I think they're awesome. Actually, I was saying today, kind of takes me back to my Auburn days a little bit. Yeah, the white helmets with the stripe, the blue and orange stripe. Yeah.
I like them a lot. It's a good change up from like just always having the blue, but like it's clean, like always all white. So I'd rather just have the white helmet, orange sleeves, orange socks, and maybe like white shoes, white gloves. That's it.
Oh, I love them. At first seeing them on Instagram, I was having mixed emotions about them. I didn't really know if I liked them or not, but whenever we went to go get fitted for them the other day, I was like, okay, these are nice. Pulled the helmet out and I was like, oh my, like yeah, this is probably one of the helmets that I'm definitely trying to keep after the season. So.
I like the laugh at the end from Trouble. I'm actually with Trouble on this one. When I very first saw them, I was like, huh. Like, I liked them. I wasn't, like, overly impressed. And then when you see them in person, it's like, okay, that's fire. That's absolutely, they couldn't have nailed it any more than they did.
When I first saw it, I started looking at my 4 Bronco helmets that I have that when I played here and was like, I wonder if they'll let me trade one of these in and kind of refurbish this and let me get one of those ones. Because I have the old school, right? The blue with the horse on the side. And man, I thought that those helmets were unbelievable. I thought they hit it out the ballpark. And then, you know, I always get a little weird when they go with the orange.
Yeah, the color rush.
Yeah, especially I used to be an offensive lineman. So, you know, big guys tend to look like pumpkins with the color rush jerseys, and small guys look like carrots.
Yeah.
So it was never really flattering. So I've always been an all blue type of person. Whenever we wear all blue, that always felt the best. But I think that fit is fire, head to toe.
I can't wait to see what this looks like eventually in all white. Like, I want to see them in all white with the snow cap. I'm sure that uniform change is coming.
It's got to come,
in
right?
years to come.
Next year, we got to keep on doing this thing, right? You got to add something.
Okay, let's go ahead and check out the game notes for this one. You hear some important numbers, I think, heading into this game just to be aware of. Let's go ahead and start with 100. That's the number of points the Broncos have scored this season. That's their best start since 2016. 4.2, the yards after contact, Jaleel McLaughlin is averaging. That is a league best, like we talked about earlier. This guy, the second he gets the ball in his hands, he's making something happen with it. 2, the number of receiving touchdowns wide receiver Brandon Johnson needs to have the most in team history within his first 11 career games. Currently has 4, needs just 1 to to tie Eddie Royal, and 2 to surpass him. 26.9, that's the yards per catch rookie wide receiver Marvin Mims Jr. is averaging. He also has the most yards per target at 22, most yards at the catch on average, 18.9, and the third most yards after the catch with 8. So the guy is absolutely incredible. I think we need to see him a lot more than 25% of the snaps out there. We'll get into that here in a second. 6.6 yards Jets running back Breece Hall is averaging per carry. He obviously is coming back from injury. His workload no longer managed by the Jets, so we should see even more of him here today. And lastly, 141, that is rushing attempts opposing offenses have had against the Jets this season. We mentioned it a little bit. If the Broncos want to be successful here today, the running game is going to be something that they're going to have to lean into and really stick with, I think, throughout this game. So we're going to get in really quick to your keys to the game and whatnot after I tell you guys from my friends over at Snarfs, because let's just say if you went out to the DNVR tailgate today, you had all you can eat Snarfs. How do you feel about that, Big O?
Why wasn't I told?
Because I needed you here.
Favorite spot.
I needed you. What do you get at Snarfs usually?
They have that Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. But I mean, I honestly could go there and kind of close my eyes and pick. I've done that before and been super happy with the result.
They have a really mean French dip. And I don't know, I'm a California girl. I don't know if French dips are like a thing out there, but that is something that I'll always try if I see one on the menu. And their au jus is amazing. So I highly recommend it. I also recommend, even if you're a vegetarian, if meat is not your thing, they also have a ton of veggie sandwiches as well. Quality is their biggest thing. They will never put any ingredients on your sandwich that are not absolutely perfect. Like you guys know, you guys can download Snarfs for online ordering and delivery. You can join Snarfs Rewards. They have members-only offers, birthday gifts, referral points, stuff like that. So go ahead and check them out. Give them a try at our Broncos Tailgate. Of course, the next home game, what is that, Packers on the 22nd?
Yeah.
Because, they go Thursday Chiefs. Yeah, the following Sunday would be Packers. So, Packers game. Be sure to get out to the DNVR Tailgate. All you can eat Snarfs. I'm actually hoping that Lindsay Spano shows up here in a little bit because she always has a few left over, and that is what I'm counting on for lunch today. Also want to give a shout out to Breck Brewery, the official beer of DNVR. You guys know that we absolutely love our Breck brews here. We got the Broncos Country Pale Ale right here on the set. That is actually the beer of the month here at the DNVR bar. So be sure to come on down, get yourself some Broncos Country Pale Ale. Or if you're not really into the beer thing and you're more of a seltzer gal, like me, don't mean to, you know what? I didn't mean to make that gal or guy thing. I think you can be a guy and love a good seltzer too. The Good Company Hard Seltzer is my absolute favorite. Also, be sure to note Thursday, October 12th, this week for Broncos and Chiefs, they're having a really cool watch party out at the Breck Brew Farmhouse in Littleton. So be sure to check that out. I'm running out of breath. Check out the beer locator at breckbrew.com as well to find where you can find Breck Brew. Whew. Thanks.
That was a lot.
I just need to catch my breath for a second. Thanks, Big O. Okay, let's now get into tug of war. And this is going to be fun. We got to get through these a little bit quicker. I told you the pregame show goes fast.
Yeah.
We're going to see which of these position groups have the upper hand as we go Broncos versus Jets. Of course, like always, we always start with the quarterback matchup. Got some Wilson on Wilson crime going on today. Russell Wilson versus Zach Wilson. So I know Zach Wilson is licking his chops after almost taking down the defending Super Bowl champs last week, but obviously Russell Wilson, he ranks either number one within the top four really in every statistical category when looking at quarterbacks this year. So who has the upper hand? Yeah,
obviously it's Russell Wilson. Just experience, scheme as well. I don't think that Nathaniel Hackett has even figured out, how to take three things that Zach Wilson does and be able to highlight that over and over and over throughout the course of a game. So for me, obviously Russell Wilson has the upper hand.
Light it up, you hear? Broncos winning that one. Oh, we already did. Look at you. Okay, running backs. We're going to look at Samaje Perine, Jaleel McLaughlin, like we've talked about. These guys on the other side, they have Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I got to go with the Jets here. I got to go with the Jets. Breece Hall, he's been an absolute stud, right? 6.6 yards a carry. They're going to lean on that run game heavy. That is something that we know that they're going to do in order to find success. And, oh, by the way, you got another juggernaut of a guy in Dalvin Cook that's just licking his chops, ready to go as well. For me, not having Javonte is a big hit for the Broncos today. And, what does Samaje Perine do? But also, Sean Payton, are we going to see you get a little bit more creative with Jaleel McLaughlin? So the kind of unknown for me with Jaleel McLaughlin can't go the Broncos' way. That's why I got to go with the Jets with the running back position.
Okay, next one we're going to go. I know it says wide receivers on here, but I want to rename this, and we don't have to do it right now, just to pass catchers, because I want to be able to include tight ends in this as well. So, Court, that one? He was saying Jets. Jets win running backs. Yep. So things are even right now. Broncos with the first one. Okay, so pass catchers. Who do you think has the upper hand here?
I got to go with the Broncos, but that's a lot because of Russell Wilson and the guy that's throwing the football to the guys that are catching the football. Like I said, Zach Wilson, even though what we saw last week was great. Can he build upon that?
Yeah.
This is year 3 in the National Football League for Zach Wilson, and I feel like the Jets have not done him any favors. So I think Russell Wilson is the X factor for the Broncos, and he's been playing football at a very high level.
Yep.
Now, can we cut it loose? Can we get Brandon Johnson more reps? Can we get Marvin Mims Jr. more reps? I get it. We're paying Courtland Sutton a lot of money, but let's just try to go 1-0 this week. Let's try to get on a little bit of a run. Become a little bit more confident.
Yeah.
There has to be a really shuffle in that wide receiver room when it comes to distributing reps. And unfortunately, right now for me, if I'm the wide receiver coach, the offensive coordinator, the head coach, the quarterback of this football team, I'm saying it is what it is. And Courtland Sutton is our fourth wide receiver. And that's how the reps should be distributed.
Okay. Something that you know a lot about, an offensive line. Broncos have had their highs and lows this year offensively. Who do you think has the upper hand? You have a familiar face on the other side, and Connor McGovern at center too. So what do you think?
Lots of familiar faces. I think Mekhi Becton's playing at a very high level right now. He's very easily motivated. Laken Tomlinson, when I was in San Francisco 2 years ago, I was coaching Laken Tomlinson. He was the left guard out there. And like you said, Connor McGovern. The Broncos haven't found a way to put it all together as an offensive line unit. Unfortunately, there's been too many of those my bad moments. Book it, guys. Mike McGlinchey, love him. He'll have two of them today. He'll have either a false start or a just my bad, guys. I let the guy kind of run right by me. It's the highest paid right tackle in the league.
Yep.
That's the problem with this offense for the Denver Broncos. All 11 guys can't have a my bad moment and you expect to have success. Your players that are getting paid a lot of money, and the Broncos are paying 3 out of 5 offensive linemen out there, big time money, they have to be able to find success. And I have not seen them put together 4 quarters yet. So I'm going with the Jets here as well, AP.
Okay, I hate to hear it, but I understand where you're coming from. Let's switch over to the defensive side of the ball, the front 7. Zach Allen, Nick Bonito obviously played well enough to take Randy Gregory's job. You have Jonathan Cooper, love the coop and scoop, scoop and score, whatever you want to call it. But on the other side, you have guys like Quinnen Williams, Jermaine Johnson. I feel like their front 7 is absolutely stacked. So I would personally be giving this to the Jets just because there's some youth on our side.
Oh, I'm right there with you.
Okay.
Front 7-wise, there's no pushback from me.
Hate to say it, we need more on the interior side. We need Zach Allen to step up this week.
Yes, he's got to get going. Him and DJ Jones, that's a great tandem. Those guys should be able to make some things happen. Now it's understanding what you're going to get from the edges as well and playing together, and hopefully they're able to kind of start figuring this thing out. But right now, you got to give it to the Jets. That front 7 is super stout, and I know if I was still playing football, I probably would have got very little sleep getting ready to go against this Jets front 7.
Okay. Hey, to the guy who's shouting out our graphic is just a raw Photoshop file, we're doing our best here. Get out of here. Don't be mean. We're trying. This is kind of fun, right? Okay, the secondary. Now you have arguably the 2 best corners in all of the National Football League going up against each other today. We're going to see Sauce Gardner on guys like Courtland Sutton and Marvin Mims. You got Pat Surtain on Garrett Wilson. This is tough. This is like almost a wash for me.
Really?
But Sauce is a little handsy.
Exactly.
So I feel like we're going to get some flags off of Sauce.
I feel like Sauce Gardner has, been benefited from referees his whole entire career. Just watch him today. He is way too handsy where, you get the wrong officiating crew and all of a sudden he might get 3 or 4 penalties called on him in the course of a game.
Okay.
So for me, I'm going PS2 all day. I'm going with the guys that I know, the Justin Simmons, getting back PJ Locke. I think that's huge for this Broncos secondary. And also K-Jack, with the walk-off win last week with the INT. So I'm going with the Broncos secondary all day.
I love it. Okay, last but not least, because last time I skipped over special teams, Will Lutz versus Greg Zuerlein. Are you counting to make sure that the Broncos have the majority?
No,
what do you think?
No, I'm just
Special
looking at the
teams?
roster
Special
for
teams?
the Jets.
Greg?
Just love the looking at the roster for the Jets. Special teams. I don't know that I will, unfortunately, because of what we experienced in week 1, I don't know that I'm ever going to just sit here and say, man, I fully trust Will Lutz. I don't know that I could ever do that. It's going to probably take getting through the whole entire season for me when I look at that. But I do believe just watching the Broncos that they're on the cuffs of something great whether that's a huge play running down there on kickoff and John or bar loose, or just being able to return a kickoff return. So for me, I think the Broncos are so close and they could feel it. Give me the Broncos special teams.
I like that. So the Broncos now have the majority, 4 out of 7, correct? What was that? 4-3.
Yeah.
Okay, Broncos win this matchup in Big O's eyes, which I love. We're actually going to skip Big O's keys to the game because I'm going to have you do this as if it's Broncos win if, Jets win if. So your keys to this game within this new umbrella, the Broncos will win this game if...
I think it comes down to 4 things. I mean, you got to win the time of possession. You got to win the turnover battle with the Broncos. You got to make sure that the Jets do not make you one-dimensional, so be able to run the football.
Yep.
You know, we talked about that earlier, and I think that magic number is getting to 30 rushes some way, somehow, whether it's wide receiver, running backs, it's getting to 30 rushes, but also being efficient, and that's over 4.0 yards a carry. And then when Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos get down there in the red area, you have to be over 50% in the red area.
Okay.
And you do those 4 things, you win the football game. You take care of business. You know, you got a nice little win streak going.
Yeah. Okay, the Jets win if
they make the Broncos one-dimensional.
Yep.
Right? If the Broncos are not able to find success running the football and it's turned into a Russell Wilson, you got to go out there and throw the ball 40 times. I think that, and if the Broncos defensively are not able to stop the run.
Okay.
Stop the run, take care of that, you're going to be able to find success. And last but not least, you know, I know that you want to play a little bit more man coverage, and I think that that's the right call by Vance Joseph.
Yep.
But you got to disguise your coverage and not allow Zach Wilson to, you know, get up there and get a great beat on what the defense is doing. I think you got to be multiple with your shifts and motions and how you disguise your coverages and get to that man coverage.
Yep.
You know, maybe it's a little bit more where, hey, we're staying on the sides, and even if a guy goes in motion, we're now just have bumped over and not remove a guy completely and run to the opposite side where that signals man.
Yeah.
But you are finding a way to play a variation of man behind that with that even happening. So I think you got to be able to do that. And with a quarterback like Zach Wilson that, let's be honest, he hasn't really even found his niche in the league as far as the things that he does well.
Okay.
So if you're able to confuse him, you'll be able to get into his head and he will make mistakes.
My note was the Jets win if Zach Wilson is feeling himself. So I'm glad that you and I are kind of on the same page here. Really quick, I know we got to hustle through this. Let's just check in with Zach here really quick. He was out at the tailgate. Zach, what do you know?
What is up, Alexis and Orlando? Coming to you from just outside in Powerfield, a mile high, just outside the DNVR tailgate. It is popping today. Fans are ready to see Nathaniel Hackett, Sean Payton, and the drama that's coming with this game. But one person who is not going to be out there, Javonte Williams. He got hurt in last week's game. Did not seem to be that serious of an injury. There was hope that he was going to play. Listed as questionable on the injury report. He is inactive and will not play, so that's a blow to the Broncos. So Samaje Perine's going to fill in for him, take those big carries when you need a couple of short yards, but really expect Jaleel McLaughlin, the fan favorite, to have a big-time game. Despite being small, I expect Jaleel to get a big workload. He's really only played a couple of plays each game, and he maximizes those carries. Don't expect that to be the case today. Expect him to get a big-time workload. I think Sean Payton's really going to trust him today and give him the keys to this offense. Also, Marvin Mims, expect him to have a big game. He should really continue to get a bigger workload, although we haven't seen that. The Broncos have really just played him about 15 to 17 plays, which is criminal. It's a crime. They need to get him on the field more. He needs to be at least 50% of the snaps. Heck, if it were me, he's the #1 receiver on this team, so he would be on the field 80% of the snaps, but expect to see Marvin Mims, Jaleel McLaughlin, these young guys help this Broncos offense today. And how are they going to slow down Nathaniel Hackett? And Zach Wilson, well, it's going to be a lot easier of a task, not just because the Jets are averaging 15.5 points per game, but the Broncos are getting so many reinforcements back on defense. Josie Jewell, Justin Simmons, PJ Locke, Mike Purcell. They're getting so many players back on the defensive side of the ball, so it really should boost this Broncos defense today. One of the reasons the Broncos defense has been so bad these past couple of weeks is because of miscommunications and breakdowns that happen in a play. That's with a lot of backups coming in, not knowing exactly what their role responsibility is. Now that you have these guys back, specifically Justin and Josie, they're kind of the brains of this defense. They tell guys where to go. They make the play calls. That is going to be huge for this defense, not having any breakdowns. And the weather, I mean, it is as nice as it can be out here in Denver, Colorado today. So over-under's 42.5 right now. Maybe you see with the Broncos defense not being the best, Zach Wilson kind of feeling it, and we know Russell Wilson is also having a good year so far. You can see a lot of points scored today. So beautiful day for some football and for the Broncos to get their second win of the season. I can't wait. Sean Payton, Nathaniel Hackett, whoever wins this game, there's going to be drama around it regardless. So enjoy the game. We'll see you after.
Of course, we're going over for this one, but thanks for sticking with us, you guys. I mean, first play, Nathaniel Hackett, loss of yards. Then we got a Nick Benito sack. This is absolutely incredible. What a great start for the Denver Broncos. So now that you're seeing this, score prediction.
I think that this still is a bloodbath, you know.
Okay.
It's going to be physical. A lot of field goals being kicked in this game. Give me the Broncos 21 to Jets 12.
Okay, so he's saying on Bet365, the Broncos obviously at -2.5. They're going to handle that easily. Dang, we got to get to watching this game. We hope you guys enjoy it, and be sure to join us right back here after the game for the post-game show. We'll see you guys then.
We all silly like the mayor.